Hello Year 3, I wanted to read you a book called Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World, and I bought it about 2 years ago at an exhibition in Parliament celebrating 100 years since some women got the vote, and I saw this book and I was so excited, and I was even more excited when I found out that from Miss Hall that we were going to be reading you a bit of our favourite book to you all. Now, I tried to record myself reading this book last week, but the video was so long and there were so many fantastically amazing great women that changed the world that the video was too long to actually send to Miss Hall. So I have decided that I will read you about 3 women each day, and you will learn a bit about 3 great women that changed the world each day. So, how did they become so fantastically amazing and great? The women in this book didn't set out to be thought of as great. They achieved extraordinary things simply by following their hearts, talents and dreams. They didn't listen when people said they couldn't do something. They dared to be different. And some of them couldn't resist a crazy adventure or 3. And here in the book you can see some of the amazing great women that changed the world. So the first woman is called Jane Austen. When her first book was published, British writer Jane Austen couldn't tell anyone she was the author. In 1811, people thought it wasn't right for a woman to have a job, no matter how talented they were. The books Jane wrote were so heartbreaking, romantic and thrilling that they are still enjoyed 200 years later. They are some of the best stories ever created. Meet some of Jane's heroines, heroes and villains. And here you've got Mr. Darcy over here, and you have got Emma Woodhouse, and you have got Sir Walter Elliot in Persuasion, and you've got Mrs. Norris in Mansfield Park, and maybe when you go to secondary school you will read a few of her books. So in Secret Letters to her sister, Jane writes of having her own heart broken, just like the heroine she wrote about, by a man called Tom Lefroy. The two weren't allowed to marry because Jane's family was not rich. With no husband, Jane had to rely on her family for money until her books became popular. And the second woman I want to talk to you about is Gertrude Adele. So, in the 1920s, teenage Olympic medal-winning swimming sensation Gertrude from New York, USA, wanted to prove that a woman could complete a swimming challenge said to be as difficult and as dangerous as climbing Mount Everest. Gertrude, or Trudy, wanted to be the first woman to swim across the freezing waters of the English Channel. People wondered if Gertrude's plan was a length too far, as her first attempt in 1925 had failed due to bad weather, but she didn't give up. And she had essential Channel swimmer kit, and as you can see here in the picture. And she had a 2-piece swimsuit. Rather than wear a heavy woolen swimsuit, Trudy made herself one of the first 2-piece bathing suits from underwear. Men swam the Channel naked. And she had grease. Trudy's whole body was smothered in grease to keep her warm in the cold water. And she had a bright red swimming cap so onlookers could spot her in the waves. And she had goggles to stop the seawater stinging her eyes. And finally, after swimming for 14 hours and 31 minutes, around 35 miles, she reached the English coast. Gertrude had swum it her way and set a new record time, 2 hours faster than any of the men who had previously completed the swim. Gertrude ate sugar cubes, even though people said that wasn't enough food, and kept her stroke in time by listening to her favourite song on a gramophone. And she fought strong currents, ignoring people telling her she must give up. Gertrude used her strongest stroke, which was American crawl, even though everyone said that breaststroke was better. In August 1926, aged 19, Trudy waded into the sea in France, called cheerio, and set off on her second attempt to swim the English Channel, and she did it. And back in New York, she made an absolute splash. Crowds flocked to celebrate her enormous achievement. And the third woman I'd like to talk to you about is Coco Chanel. And these are some of the images from the book. So, at that time, women dressed in a very formal way. Coco didn't think this suited the changing lives of women. It was time for a new approach to fashion. Coco snipped different parts from clothing, making them into garments suitable for the modern woman to do whatever she pleased in. So, in terms of sportswear, in 1914, Coco used lightweight fabric previously only ever used to make men's underwear to make clothes for active women, including this swimming costume. And here you can see the swimming costume that she created. and she created pyjamas. Until Coco launched a range of women's pyjamas in 1918, they were only ever worn by men. And here you can see some of the pyjamas. And trousers. Yes, trousers. Coco was one of the first women to wear trousers. She included them in her 1930 collection. And I've got a little quote from Coco Chanel, and she says that fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky, in the street. Fashion has to do with ideas, the way we live and what is happening. And Coco caused a stir in 1917 when she cut her hair short. So these are just 3 of the great, amazing women that have helped to change the world. And there are so many more women. And each day this week, I'm going to read you 3 women and tell you a bit about how these women changed the world, and hopefully inspire you to also go on to do amazing, great things which you're doing. Take care.